Justin, we have had the kind of weather that you live for here in the last, has it been 3 or 4 days? The smoke has cleared for now from the creek fire, and it got very, very cold, which I know some of us like very much. The trees are extraordinary. That means they're changing into their yellows and orange, and also dropping leaves. And it's, I don't know how you guys feel, but it's hard not to smile when you're outside.
No, it's good. I left work early yesterday just to go for a mountain bike ride because the air was clear and I needed to get into it. And Nilla has something to say, apparently. We've had these 3 bucks that come through our yard and they just hang out and torture her. So that's probably what she's yelling at.
Well, it seems in Orange County, that where I am in South Orange County, that we have now had fire eruptions. So it has been
I'm sorry.
absolutely tragic. And we have been spared, as you guys know. We've been mostly spared in Orange County, not in San Bernardino, but in Orange County. And now we are in trouble.
I am sorry.
Yeah, so am I.
How are you coping, Beth?
You know, I'm okay. It's not, it's still pretty far away from us personally, but a lot of my colleagues, Robin, to be very honest with you, and some friends had to evacuate. So I've been spending the last couple of days trying to help people find places to live. And that, as you guys know, is very difficult. So just been trying to be as helpful as possible, which sometimes I think if you engage in sort of inside some of the crisis, it tends to help me. So I just try to be helpful, which I think binds my own anxiety.
Yeah.
But thank you for asking.
Yeah. How about the rest of you? How's it going? North County folks.
Hi, Robin. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. It's really good to be with some of my favorite Monroe County and Mammoth Lakes colleagues, and to see all of you virtually at least. Yeah, we're doing good in North County. I'm up here in Colville, and as most of you are aware, yeah, we're dealing with fire and smoke issues like the rest of the county right now, and doing our best to kind of hang on. I know that for us up here, and me especially, I kind of go through this seasonal depression where I know all the businesses are closing, hiking season is ending, and people are being laid off for the winter, and not much goes on up here. I know when I lived in Mammoth, it was an exciting time when you got super excited for the snow and the people that were coming, and ski days, and it's kind of the opposite up here. I feel you're a lot more isolated, and it's a lot more lonely, and you don't have places to go get food, and restaurants are closed. So I think that seasonal depression combined with the fatigue of the pandemic is approaching, I think is weighing on at least my mind very heavily.
What a beautiful way of saying it. That kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
At least. Thanks, Robin.
And I know you have kids, so how do you manage helping your kids through all of that?
I don't know if I do, to be honest with you. I think
we'll know in 20 years how they're doing.
Exactly. Results are TBD. But yeah, no, I think leaning on like yourself, Robin, and colleagues and families that are up here and getting ideas on what to do, how to go. We've been pretty locked up since March, and so we do a little trail walk and puzzles, and we're doing family yoga and family breathing sessions, which are something I have never done in my life. But we're trying to manage. We're trying to cope, like I think everyone else right now.
I want to see some of that family yoga.
Yeah, we'll send you a picture. I'll tag you.
I would like Jeff doing yoga. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
How about the rest of you? How you all doing?
So for us, it's a little bit different. I mean, we're up in North County, but I think we're just really trying to enjoy the last of this nice fall weather before we know it gets really cold. It got really cold this weekend, but for my family, I think just getting ready to have this baby has actually been a distraction for us. So we're kind of all nesting and trying to make lists of what we need to do and what we need to get done. But it's I got to tell you, as far as the kids, the having the school open for us has really been nice because it gives my daughter that opportunity to have that social interaction with kids her age. So I went to go pick her up from her after school program, and I heard her say, I don't want to go home. So she just loves hanging out with the kids. And so it's been going good. We're just, just prepping for the winter months. We, like Jeff said, being up here in North County, we're a little bit more isolated. So we're starting to like stock up on canned goods and things that, we can't just run down the street and get. So, but overall things have been pretty good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is probably going to be my last community conversation for a while, since I'll be going on maternity leave after next week. So I'll be missing you guys for a couple of weeks, maybe months.
We look forward to seeing the baby.
And we look forward to you coming back too.
Well, and to seeing you too, of course, in your baby brain. We look forward to that.
I'm just the bonus, Beth, that comes with the baby.
No. You're a package deal.
Yeah, Stephanie, I can relate. We were, Jeff and I were just talking before this started. My kids go back to school. So I have 4 kids, 3 of them go back to school on November 4th. So for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it'll be a big change that we're really looking forward to. With that come concerns. Our district sort of bypassed the whole hybrid return plan and is going full, kind of the first one around here to go full. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But we are excited to kind of have, if nothing else, a shift in our schedule and for the kids to, have the opportunity to be in class and socialize. But now they're dealing with changing of teachers and classes being shifted around. And so some additional things going on. And then we noticed some friends who have gone back to a hybrid schedule, their kids weren't adequately prepped as to how it's going to be different. I think they thought that it was going to be school as normal. And so they were really disappointed when they went back. So we're making sure that we prep our kids that it's going to look very, very different so that they're not surprised.
Okay, coping.
Okay.
Uh-oh, here we go. How are you doing, Linda Salcido?
Okay. So I haven't been on for a while. So I
Great to
appreciate
see you.
everything everybody said, because I think it's all like spot on. In my world and, town here, I know a few of us live right in town here. We're sort of enjoying this air. The air is great. And then we're looking, I'm looking into the holiday season and beginning to understand that, we're going to have virtual Thanksgivings and virtual Christmases, and we're not going to be with extended family. And so that's a little bit of a reality check. Hoping that the mountain and all our businesses in Mammoth can stay open and healthy through the winter season. Trying to figure out what that's going to look like for everybody, and feeling a little bit of trepidation about that, but trying to remain really hopeful and positive, watching what's going on around the country and feeling like I need to hide behind a rock because it's coming this way. And how do we, keep ourselves healthy, and hopefully the state will continue to lead well into this. And that's how I am.
You brought up a couple things that I think I would love to hear people's perspective on. And one is how you're going to negotiate the holidays that are coming up, since they are holidays that tend to be family oriented, for better or for worse. So I've been a therapist for a very long time, and this is always the period of time where people are like, I don't want to see my family, or I don't want to hang out with my uncle or my whatever. And now it's a different way of looking at it. So I live by myself. I have never felt this isolated ever in my life. I love being alone. So I figure, I have a bandwidth for aloneness that's probably way different than a lot of people. But the isolation started to feel like it was taking away this is going to sound very dramatic, which I can be, but kind of taking away pieces of my soul a little bit. And so I had a friend, and then more recently, and to the point today, my brother and his partner We negotiated 14 days of quarantine where we still had some risk, like markets and things like that. But for the most part, we didn't have people in our homes. We had to negotiate all of that. We had several conversations where we figured out, like, what does that look like? What am I comfortable with? What are you guys comfortable with? They've been here since Saturday. We're doing a daily exercise routine today. I had like so many meetings today. Somebody brought me homemade, still warm from the oven, chocolate cookies. So I'm benefiting from being around people, but I think the thing that I noticed the most is just that peace that felt like it was, I don't know, for those of you who've ever been in the ocean, when you put your feet when the waves are coming back and forth and you feel like you keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, that's what the isolation felt like to me. And so now I feel like, I'm doing way better. I get to show them the area around here. We're all working. My brother's a teacher. His partner works in the finance industry, and then I'm working. And it's been a really interesting process. But I think what I want to talk about tonight with you all is, how do you negotiate those relationships? Because I've had other family members who feel like their level of safety should be my level of safety, and then they get hurt when I don't say, yeah, sure, come on over. Because I'm like, yeah, no, what you've decided is safe wouldn't be safe for me. And I think we're going back into that world, especially around the holidays. What do y'all think?
I agree, Robin. I just went and saw, my mom also has a capacity for loneliness that is beyond the normal scope, let's say. And I saw her for the first time in person since February, this last weekend. And I didn't realize how much I'd missed her. And she hasn't seen my girls in a while, like just on Zoom, but you can't tell like how tall they are, or, that their hair is way longer, or, just little things like that. But out of respect to visiting her and knowing that she hasn't really left her house a whole lot since February, it's like been very minimal shopping trips, less than an hour for sure. Like she gets everything shipped to her house. She's doing everything at her house by herself. So for her, I was like, I'm going to work and Imogen's going to daycare. Like, this is my level of exposure. Are you still okay with me coming? Like, we really want to see you, but like, if I need to stay somewhere else and we just hang out outside your house, like we can do that. But if you're comfortable having us in your home, we'd love to do that too. But I'm just trying to understand and respect, where she's at in her life and her health and what she's comfortable with. And I just think you just need to be brutally honest with people with what your level of exposure is, and making sure that everyone's really comfortable. I think it gets more awkward when they don't realize that, you've been in the office for like months now, or, stuff like that. So, and I definitely toned back my social interactions, like outside of work. Like I didn't do any backyard barbecues or anything like that for a couple of weeks before we went down, but it is a different time. I think I have a new appreciation for, that uncle that really bothers me at the holidays. Guess I really do love him. And next year, I keep telling myself it's a normal for this year. It doesn't have to be the normal forever, and
Right.
appreciate the time that I have and the people that I have in my life right now. And hopefully I have a new appreciation for the bigger family dramas in years to come.
Beautiful.
Well put. Thank you.
How about the rest of you? Hold on, I'm going to do my little station announcement. You are listening and tuned into Coping with COVID and Other Things. We're talking today. We do it every other week on a Wednesday at 5:30 through the Zoom that you're on right now. We have a chat and or a Q&A box that you can make your questions or comments in, and or you can join us on the Facebook Live behavioral health page. I know a lot of you join us that way. So please, we're interested in your comments, your questions, etc. My old radio days. Go ahead. Who's next?
We have some quite good questions, Justin, if you want to
Yeah, we have a question, a couple actually. The first was
Okay.
about, will kind of lead us into a topic that we needed to revisit from our last meeting. So Dirk says, is anyone listening to music they have not explored before or rediscovering music possibly forgotten? And I know we talked about this, I feel like early on, someone was doing that. But anybody who wants to talk about that?
I've been listening to a lot of vintage country, but I'll leave it at that.
Oh, interesting.
I recently pulled out my iPod that I bought back in high school. I'm sorry, just out of college. It was one of the first ones that came out, and I found the charger for it, and I had all this music from another time, and like 90s grunge type stuff, and it was good to listen to on a hike the other day.
Is that what you're doing your yoga too?
No, don't let the kids listen to that stuff.
Ingrid?
I have this weird habit of I listen to Sirius XM while I drive. And so I've been playing whatever the 80s on 8 top 40 is for the weekend. I listen to that, even if it's a year that I like. So give me 82, 83, 84. Those are really awesome years. 88, 89 but I listen to it and I'm forcing it. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, so I'm realizing there was some good music and some really bad music. And even in the early 80s, there's some really bad music
Pretty
too, but
bad.
it's super fun for me. Yeah.
How about you, Rita? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I grew up right out of not far from New York, Robin. And my parents were professional musicians. So in my life, being on, going to Broadway was from a very little girl. And so right now I'm having a Broadway revival. I'm real stuck on a chorus line right now, which is, I haven't listened or watched that in many, many years, but I would tell you that I'm on a Broadway revival right now.
Oh, we're going into the past. Rhonda, how about you?
I can appreciate what you all are saying because Ingrid, yeah, isn't it fun when you know all the words? Or maybe it's not fun. And chorus line is one of my favorite. But listening, actually, I can't believe how much I enjoy the artistry of her guitar playing is just amazing. It just reminds me so much of Prince, and she covers that a lot. And I'm sorry, I like Billie Eilish.
No sorries.
Yeah,
here.
among
You
other
have
things,
sorries here.
and things, among other things. But also, I had discovered that in watching a lot of old films and things on TCM, that I didn't realize that Lionel Barrymore, who, for those of you that don't know, he was Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life. He was a composer, and he composed classical pieces. And there's a lot of films that have his incredible classical music, and it's wonderful things that we've heard for many years. So it was a lot of fun to discover that. And Jeff, you have to find a film. It's called Out of the Past. It's 1947 with Robert Mitchum and Kirk Douglas and my namesake Rhonda Fleming. It's filmed in Bridgeport.
Awesome. I'll take a look.
And and there's a lot of things that look the same for 1947.
I have
It's a
that
really
I
fun
have that
film.
on DVD.
Isn't that a great
If
film?
anybody wants it,
It's
I
a
have
great
it on
film.
DVD. It was given to me. So Jeff, I'll pop that
And
over
then-
to you in
and
county
Robin,
mail.
I
Under
have
music. What
I have a
music are you
thing for
listening
show
to?
and tell. I have a thing for
Talking
show
to
and
me?
tell. Yes.
Talking to me.
You're
This
you
is my
Linda go, then
tomato.
Cassandra. Wow, you're like cats, honestly. Get
You
it?
go, Cassandra.
get it?
Cassandra, you go first and I'll go second.
Thank you,
Cassandra.
Elizabeth. If you insist. Well, I'm relating to Jeff. I found my old MP3 player from middle school, and I found a charger for it that fit, and
Chargers.
chargers. I know they're
How
coming
are
up.
you guys finding these chargers?
I don't know. I had a lot of stuff. My mom was like, she's been cleaning a lot around the house. Anyways, she found a lot of my old stuff, but yeah, I threw it back to Nirvana, Sublime, Backstreet Boys, and some Eminem. And I was going to work this morning. I was like, okay. So yeah, I just threw it back. I mean, that's visiting old music. I didn't realize how much I actually remember the lyrics to a lot of these songs. Like they just brought back memories of like just riding the bus to school. I lived in Crowley, so I would commute on the bus to Mammoth, and on the snowy days, I remember just like listening to music for 45 minutes or getting stuck and sent back home. But yeah, music is definitely has been really good lately for my ears and my health.
Linda.
And then, Blue Skies definitely just has brought up, some more motivation to go outside and
Yeah.
listen music
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Okay.
take it over,
Well,
Linda.
I have 2 iPods. I have one that's like a brick, a big one. And then I have a little teeny one, and I can't find the chargers for either one of them. So I'm like,
I'll lend you mine, Linda.
it sounds like
I
it.
have the brick
But-
one. I have the brick one.
You have the brick one too? Oh my God. Anyway, sadly, the weirdest thing is that I haven't had the capacity to listen to almost any music since about July, when I went back to work more. It seems like when I'm not on a meeting or working somehow, I just want it to be quiet. The TV's not on during the day. I don't put music on, which is really unusual for me. So I may need an intervention of some kind, maybe. I don't know what's broke, but my listening to music broke. And then when I found I did listen to some music, I got worms in my head, where I couldn't let go of a song, and it just drove me crazy. So I'm like, okay. I'm
Like
just gonna-
YMCA, does that ever happen?
yeah,
to you?
whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Did you see Saturday Night Live? That was hilarious. Anyway, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I get in the car, I
Yeah.
don't turn the radio on. Yeah,
You need some
Mhm.
quiet.
yeah.
How about you, Stephanie? What you listening to?
Oh, I'm listening to country music. I love country music, and it'd been a while since I kind of, because you go through your phases, right? You go, depending on the summer, whatever season or, so it'd been a while since I had listened to some country music, and man, it's like, it's so, most of it, right, is upbeat, right? But even, I don't know, can't go wrong with George Strait, Brooks and Dunn, just, yeah, I'm into the country music phase right now.
Right on. Justin.
My music collection is embarrassingly diverse. It's like, which is also good. And I have 3 daughters who are into music now at this point. So I had the fortune to go on a really long drive this week for a meeting, which was actually really nice. I have not been in the car much. I have not been out of the house much. So it was 2.5, 3 hour drive one way, and opportunity to listen to a lot of music just on shuffle. And so it was a wide range of different genres, and that was nice. It was a nice break.
Do any of you listen to particularly sad music when you're grieving and sad and struggling? Or am I the only one? No?
Oh, I
No,
am. I do.
I totally do. I do.
Big time.
Yeah,
Big time.
yeah.
And angry music.
Oh, angry.
Angry
love
music.
angry
I like
music.
the angry music.
So wait,
Yes.
what's an angry song?
Let me look at my
Totally,
playlist. I have a playlist that's inappropriately named, so I won't say what it's called.
I listen to
Alanis
Rob
Morissette
Zombie.
is angry.
What did you say, Lauren?
I said I run to Rob Zombie when I'm really angry.
Oh, okay.
Uprising by Muse. Another one, Bites the Dust by Queen. Live and Let Die,
Ah.
the Guns N' Roses version.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
there's a
Bad
song from a
Reputation by
Broadway
Joan Jett. That's a
play.
good one.
There's
So-
a song from a play called Spring Awakening, and it's totally F fill in the rest of the word, and it's like loud, totally loud. Just yeah, it's a great song. I played it accidentally one time back in the past for Tom Wallace. That was kind of mortifying. I was showing him how my iPod worked. Anyway,
Robin, you know I
here-
love Sarah Bareilles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one song that I shared with you that's not very Sarah Bareilles-like, and I challenge you all to listen to it, Sweet as Whole. And if you pronounce it differently, it's very different, but it's a good angry song.
Yeah. So we're sad, we're angry, we're revisiting the past a little bit. Maybe leaning back on things that are comfortable to us or familiar in ways that make us feel like connected to something really bigger than us? Am I reaching too far here on coping with COVID every other Wednesday night? No?
You're not reaching too far with me, Robin. I mean, of course, you know, given my career, I use some of that sad music because I decided that I'm holding so much inside, so much stress and a lot of trauma, because I talk to so many people that are having a very hard time, that I make myself have a good cry at least once a week. And so I decided that about 2 months ago, that just to get it all out. And so now I can induce that with I have my whole playlist of songs, and movies, but songs that can help with that. And then I take about 10 minutes, have a good cry, and then I get up and I go back to my work or whatever I'm doing or playing.
Beth, what movie makes you cry?
Oh, Terms of Endearment, anything where a child dies. Steel Magnolias, those movies that just really touch the heart, where a parent has to say goodbye to a child.
Oh, you go right to the heart.
I don't waste time.
You know, that psychology profession, I don't know, makes you weird.
Hazard.
Justin, do we have other questions that we want to look at into, or should we keep going on here?
We have one specifically for you. I don't know if you're comfortable answering, but they were wondering, when you and your brother and his partner isolated, did you each also get a COVID test?
You know, we didn't, and we could have. I mean, I don't know if they could have. They live in, I think they live in Orange County, and I live up here. But I did consult with someone who used to work for public health, and she told me that I could get a test on a Tuesday and a Friday, and I didn't do that. I think as we move forward, when there's more COVID in our various communities, I will do that again. I will test again. But I also live a very, a pretty solitary life. But I, you know, if you ever go outside and you're around people, then you're actually potentially exposing yourself. So I have plans. I had to make plans. I made plans for December and February to be around people, friends and family. And we've had to negotiate. I mean, the harder part is the negotiation of what does it mean, even if I got a test, what does actual quarantine mean to me? Because I think people use different, like they think of it in different ways.
Yeah. The one thing, we had a challenge from the last meeting, and that was to come back and report out on something new that you've tried, right, Stephanie? You remember? I don't wonder if anybody wants to talk about anything that they've done or tried new in the last couple of weeks.
So I'll go. Yes, I did my soy candle. I'm sorry. I'm making chile rellenos as we're like doing this meeting. I just story of my life. I got to multitask.
I've seen those too.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. But yes, the first batch I did orange scented soy candles. So this is what it looks like. So I still haven't burned one to see, like, you know, just how much aroma it lets out. But so far it came out good. It looks nice. So I'll have to make some more, because that one's for my daughter's teacher, and just see how they really come out. But
awesome. Anybody else try something new in the last 2 weeks?
I downloaded an app called Mindful. So I'm doing some meditation before I go to sleep and in the morning, and finding some sanity.
Cassandra, say again what is called the
Mindful.
Mindful.
Yeah.
And how would a person find mindful?
Sorry, what was that?
How would a person find it?
You can go on your like app icon on your iPhone or Google Play if you have an Android, and just type in Mindful. I'll put it in the chat box for the panelists to see.
Okay, cool.
And for the audience attending.
Anybody else making candles or soap or?
Well, we in the spring did our COVID garden, there was all these things people did. So that garden, the last month it was pretty done. So we were moving it. It was sort of a temporary setup. But as I was pulling out the dead tomato plants and noticed that the soil was actually really rich. So we thought, well, let's look and do some research on fall winter planting. So we're in the middle of doing that. It turns out it's not a lot of vegetables that we love, but it'll give us something to do and something to tend to. So that was our new, and I really only did it, quite honestly, because I knew I had to report back something new to this meeting. So I'm glad that I had that homework.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Garlic.
Oh, that's good. We use a lot of that.
Yeah, you're supposed to plant garlic in the fall.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's probably why my garlic never came up this spring then. You planted garlic this spring, so we're learning.
Yeah, that's on the
I
list.
didn't know.
Right.
I also have a garden, and with the cold weather, I am looking for anyone who has any green tomato recipes or things to do with green tomatoes. I have buckets of them if anyone would like any. But
They will ripen.
what?
They will ripen.
Yeah.
I've got 5 dozen sitting in there along with this and
A
there.
dozen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
wow,
my-
look at that.
This is my favorite tomato. I'm not naming him. I don't name my food. But this is the largest one I had, but they will ripen. Set them on a cookie sheet and you'll get ripened tomatoes. They actually have to have a little cold and be off the vine to ripen.
Okay. I was
Oh.
reading about that. I don't have enough cookie sheets, but I have an impressor that I think I'm going to use them in.
Right.
Okay, but I'll get you a recipe because
Okay,
not
perfect.
everybody likes fried green tomatoes. Not everyone's from the South, but they are pretty good. Like that.
I like them. I figured there's only so many I could eat, and also now's the perfect time to perfect that recipe. I
Okay.
just keep throwing them out if I have to.
One of our participants said she is doing diamond painting, which I didn't even know what that was, and I'm looking it up now.
What
Says
is that? Diamond painting?
diamond painting? It says it's very relaxing. I Googled it, and there was a lot of really pretty artwork pops up. New craft hobby that's a mix between cross stitch and paint by numbers.
Interesting. There's so many things out there that humans have made. Anybody else doing something new? Anybody craving carbohydrates like cake or donuts?
Always.
No,
Of course
No?
not.
no, never.
Okay,
No.
you're all craving broccoli and tofu.
I go more
So I didn't
savory.
do, I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. So this isn't necessarily a new hobby. I'm not a crafty person, unfortunately. But I went to in-person meetings. I went to Sacramento, and I know a lot of us on here, Ingrid, Linda, Robin, and Justin worked in downtown Sac for a long time. We got used to going there a lot. And so it was really interesting to be back. I'm a people person. I've said this before, I'm not an isolated person. I'm an extrovert. So it was so great to see some of my RCRC friends, and went to a dinner. It was socially distanced and outside, and it felt pretty safe, but it's also really kind of sad in downtown Sacramento. It's a kind of a ghost town, well, especially right now, the legislature isn't in session. So it was good. It was positive, but also kind of negative, because it really like, oh yeah, this is not like it used to be. A lot of places are closed, and a lot of them are going to open again. And
Oh, well.
Was it kind of scary? Like, did it feel like kind of like scary to be around people like that?
I think not for me. It was so nice to see people, and there was just enough room, and everybody it was a little weird going up to I had some anxiety walking up to the restaurant. I was like, now it's going to be outside, right? But it was kind of empty. So, and then at first they said, oh, you have 5, we might have to put you inside. There's literally nobody else in there, but I think both of us Justin, it was with Marianne, we had a look on our face, and and the guy said, oh no, I'll put together a really big table out here on the patio. And so it was fine. We were 6 feet apart, and then it was nice to be able to watch people walking by. So, but I think that's, I was just so glad to see people so I have to be careful, because I am so happy seeing people that I might forget the rules.
That's me
Stacey,
too.
I think you're highlighting exactly what we all are feeling the tension of, is like the difference between seeing people and not seeing people. Like how do you navigate that, and that if you say, yes, I'm going to see people, what are the conditions under which you'll see those people? Like some people just see people. Some people have, like you're talking about a whole process you guys had to go through with a mask on and just through your eyes, I'm guessing. Ingrid, you had your mic unmuted.
I know, it's just that way. I was thinking about that though, how much I would like to go to a meeting. Like there's a sheriff's conference in Napa in December, and we had to RSVP because they can only allow so many people to go because of the distancing requirements. And do I want to go? I don't know if I want to go. And then with caring for my dad and knowing that I'll be spending time down there, I said, I'm not going to go. I honestly, I really want to see all those people. I genuinely love being with them, and it's fun. It's one place where all the sheriffs can be themselves and drink and be stupid because nobody's, watching us but each other. But I'm not going to go because I'd rather spend that time with my dad and allocate my time there. So, but I was, even without that, I was kind of like, I don't know, do I want to go? Do I want to have a dinner where you have to sit 5 feet away from the person next to you? Stacey, was it weird? I mean, was it uncomfortable? It
was fine. It was fine. Well, there were, a couple of us from RCRC and then legislators who I didn't know. So it was fine, but it really honestly felt fine.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. We were trying to think at Christmas for work, because we want to do like a gift exchange sort of a thing where you bring one present and you get to pick somebody else's, and it turns into a really fun game. But can we have a gathering of that size? I don't know. In the sheriff's office, it'll be cold. So no, I mean, Linda's like, no, Ingrid, no, don't. So we're probably not going to do it. It's just, I want to get past this. I know I'm not alone in that, but we want to get.
Yeah. It was really sad. I went to 2 different flu clinics that we had, the drive-through flu clinics that worked there. And so the whole public health staff, many of the public health staff were there. We had on N95s, of course, and proper PPE for everything. And it was like a party. Like everyone is like 10 feet apart with heavy PPE. And we're just so happy to see each other. It was like, oh, this is like the best party ever. We're here to give flu shots. And it's the first time I've seen you since March. And it's really nice. And it was kind of it really was. It was so nice just to see people in person that you've been seeing on Zoom every morning at 8 o'clock since then. It was, wow. It's like there's a bunch of desperate folks out there. You just kind of wanting to say, hi, so nice. So yeah, I felt I was really lucky. I felt like I got a couple of really nice doses of people time.
So
I have to say it was really nice to see
another
you
person's flu shot?
I'm sorry, what Stace?
Oh, I just said I got to see Linda at the flu clinic. I just see them for like a couple minutes, but I took too long. I caused like a backup of the talking to Brian. It was really good to see.
So you're tuned into Coping with COVID and anything else you might be coping with. We meet every other week on Wednesday at 5:30, as we are right now. We have about 15 minutes left. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat or the Q&A here on the Zoom channel. Or if you're listening by way of Facebook, we have Facebook Live through the Behavioral Health page. Why we called it Behavioral Health, I don't know. I can't spell it or say it. But we are at the Behavioral Health page on Facebook. We do this live. You can also check it out later. We have a YouTube channel through the county, Mono County, where this will be uploaded, and through Facebook. You can also see it later if you want to direct your friends or family into like, how are you doing and how are you going to navigate the holidays as they come up? How are you going to do or not see people? What's that going to look like?
Hey, Robin, speaking of Facebook, I have a a coping strategy that's probably not healthy, but it's super cathartic for me this week. I stay out of politics on Facebook because there's no point. People don't want to have they don't want to have a discussion. They want to just scream their point at you. But I have lately been dissecting posts that are inaccurate or have fake news and redirecting people to accuracy. And that's what I'm demanding out of people. I don't care what side you're on, but I'm demanding accuracy. And my mantra has been research before repost, almost to the point of distraction that I've been doing it. It's probably not healthy. And I'm not taking sides on things because I'm an elected official in a nonpartisan office, but it's super cathartic to really call people out and say, hey, that's just not even true. So Beth, I'd like your opinion on it, because the election has caused so much angst and uncertainty and angriness, especially on the socials, that I honestly fear what's going to happen a week from today. Either way it goes, it's going to be an ugly, weird world. And we probably won't even know a week from today. But I don't know if anybody else shares my stress over this.
I'll weigh in, actually. I think it's a really adaptive way of getting some anger out, what you're describing, because you're not harming anyone. You're not raging at anyone. You're really asking them to educate themselves, right? And then they're a choice. So I don't see it as maladaptive as like some of the eating that I do, or you know what I mean, or some of the other stuff. But I do agree with you, Ingrid. I'm also concerned. I'm concerned because I don't know what. And I am also speaking from an apolitical place. I'm not politicizing, but there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. And this is the most unique experience that I've certainly ever seen in my lifetime. And I believe that people are going to have to get their anger and their rage out, and that scares me.
Jeff, you unmuted yourself?
Yeah, I agree with Ingrid, and I think, you know, the frustration for me is really social media and how much you see of it. I don't know if anyone's watched that documentary, The Social Dilemma, on Netflix, but it really just highlights how it pushes people further into their corner and only shows them really, you know, the things that they believe in. And it's really just around social media for me, the scariness and the you know, disrespect of your fellow citizens that's the part that gives me some anxiety as well, Ingrid.
Yeah, I think because I come from a law enforcement career, and so those people tend to be very conservative, and they are further right, but I'm also a Berkeley graduate and a woman, and so I have a lot of friends on that political spectrum, and so I see a lot of it on both sides on the socials. I'm not pushed into a corner because I don't post anything political, and I see everybody else's. And I blocked a lot of people for a long time because it was so angry and so stupid. Like, I don't even want to see this anymore. And then I unblocked a lot of people and I remembered why I blocked them in the first place. And but I don't know, people are going to just lose it next week. And in both directions, people are they're going to crow and they're going to brag and they're going to see, I told you. And then the other side's going to be angry. And I don't know. I'm glad we live on an island in a bubble.
Sides, right? Like, I mean, I think we're talking about coping here, and the way you cope is that we're all talking about how much we miss people and how much we want to feel connected, and how we're listening to songs from the past because they help us feel connected to time in a way that's really special to us, or it helps us get out energy in one way or the other. And then we're talking about sides. Like, I don't want to divide any of you into a side, either on mine or not.
Well,
like,
I think this
complex people. We have many different ideas about many different things. And so let's have, like, even this conversation here, like, how do we each assess risk? You know, we have some kids going back to school and some people not wanting to be around people at all. Like, but we don't have to beat each other over the head about it. Like, you know, we care about each other. That seems like the most important thing. And I don't want that to become something that's negative or that we have to apologize for.
You know,
I think
Robin,
the inability for us to be able to have these difficult and constructive conversations in person is really what's adding to this division right now, because half the people wouldn't say or debate half of the things that they do on Facebook if they were talking to you in person.
Right.
And since none of us can get together and have these conversations that are important and are challenging and make others think, and, you know, there's a level of respect when you're, you know, listening to someone face to face, you know, throwing that all out the window has really just led, I think, to this really difficult, dark place online.
I agree with you, Justin, you know, and how I see it is almost tribal. I see it, you know, I think if we went back, you know, to the from an anthropology perspective, to our cave, you know, the caveman or the cave person. So I'm politically correct. The cave person, you know, I mean, it really seems that to me, that we are now in such a binary place where people feel like they're right or they're wrong, they're good or they're bad. And I think one of the saddest parts for me is that it's hard to have conversations that are just about, you know, kind of being in the middle, or you know. And I agree with you, Ingrid, because I've done the same, where I've just had to block some people because it was intolerable. It's nice that you unblock them. Actually, I don't even unblock them, but I hope I get to that place, because these are people I also care about and love for many, many years. And I think to myself, I still love them and I care about them.
And it's sad when you block somebody, because then you don't see their other posts. You don't see what's going on in their world with their families and their dogs and their kids. And you miss all of that because they're so angry. And they post just, I don't block people who post political opinions, but nasty memes, especially if they're degrading to women. And I'm going to call on people out on that. I'm like, that's just not even funny. It's not funny when you have to degrade another human being to make your point. It says more about you than it says about what you're talking about. And I've lost probably some people. People probably blocked me. And I don't post anything. I just call them out when they're wrong. But it's funny. I'm also finding that people in groups where they will yell at each other, people don't take me on. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because of my rank or my gender or what, but it's kind of fun where people are like, oh, Ingrid said, and they leave it alone. So it feels kind of powerful. I'm going to keep using it.
Yeah.
I want to give a little group hug to Rhonda. You know, she's running for election for next week, and in the midst of all this, I think she just needs a little bit of loving right now, because that can't be easy. Rhonda, thinking of you.
Thank you. I'm just about 9 minutes away from really jumping right in the middle of the next meeting, which is going to be all of those things you talked about. But one of the things I know, only thing I know is next week, something is going to change, for good or bad or whatever. And I've just let it go. You know, there's, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be emotional, and it's just
Oh,
water.
you are. This is coping, Rhonda.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Beth
Okay,
just talked about how
but
she takes 20 minutes a day to cry her eyes out.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Oh, I did. I actually did that earlier.
Go ahead. You
Sorry.
go.
So I'm overtime. But to what you're saying is completely true. I do not post anything. I'm, you know, inconspicuous online, because I just, I don't have time. But there's hope, everyone, because as I was trying to deal with my yard and the leaves that I hope blow to Tonopah, I don't have to deal with them. And it was such a beautiful day. Everyone is walking by. So I saw so many people out there that stopped and wanted to talk. It really made me feel good. And I had a wonderful conversation with a neighbor who were politically different, but I've known it for years, but he felt comfortable enough to say what he thought his opinions were. And I didn't just really say anything other than, no, I can understand. I understand what you're saying. And the fact is that he feels, if I let him feel comfortable saying what it is, and I can understand his point of view, because we're all our point of views are from our environments and, different time, different place. And it probably made me feel the best I'd felt all day is to just have that contact and knowing that what you're saying is once you start actually talking to people again, they calm down. But, it's harder to be angry. But we've all listened to hear one side says it's going to be awful and they're not going to accept it. And he actually was saying the very same thing about the other side. So guess what? Everybody thinks the same thing is going to happen and everybody thinks each other is going to freak out and lose it. And that's probably not going to happen. There's a few things we'd like to see happen, but they're probably not going to happen the way that we think it is. And all we know is that we're going to go to the next phase. And so after a year, I'm ready for it. But whatever it is, we're going to get through it because look what we're getting through right now. Just when you get, and I'm looking the number of cases and this flashed to me that are now positive in Inyo County is scary. I see what's happening right now in New Orleans, smacked with another hurricane. And, every time the car drives by, I wonder if it's an earthquake. That's our world right now. And we're really resilient. And this is how we get through it. It's talking to each other.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thanks for the hugs.
Rhonda, thank you, because I think one of the things we talk about here on the panel, and we're not always perfect or successful, but we have control over our breathing and we have control over connection. And it may not be perfect, but making connection with others, even if it's your neighbor walking by and just listening, we all want to be seen, heard, and understood. That's basic to who we are. And that's one of the goals of coping with COVID or whatever we're coping with here every other week is just having these conversations. And boy, the time went really fast. We have 4 minutes. I want to thank everybody so much for this. In 2 weeks, I don't know the date because I can't believe we're almost done with October. I want to remind you that there's a full moon on Friday.
Well, of course there is.
Yeah, but in the event that it's still clear skies here in Mono County, it should be spectacular. Also, we have a time change coming up in the event that you're not ready for that. For better or for worse, it's happening. And also to invite all of you back in 2 weeks to have this conversation. We'll continue to talk about, it looks like we might make a playlist where we send it out to you all, what we would recommend for whatever, angry, sad, happy, scared. But I'm wondering, Beth, if you just run us through like 2 minutes of breathing, do you mind?
Not at all.
Having us do that, some conscious breathing, so we all go into our next phase of the evening meetings and otherwise with some peace in our heart.
Absolutely. So if everyone can let all the air out of their lungs for a moment, and then just breathe in through your nose as slowly as possible until you get to the top of your breath, and hold it for a moment. And then exhale, letting all the air out of your lungs. And try it again. You might feel some of the coolness of the air coming in through your nose or warmth. Hold it at the top of the breath. And then exhale again, just letting all the air out. Again, letting it all out to the bottom of your lungs. And then find now just a natural rhythm to your breathing, please. Very natural, don't force it. Just allow yourself just to find it. You might notice the rise and the fall of your chest. You might notice even your stomach. Just allow yourself now to just focus on your breathing. Many of us, of course, are going to have thoughts that come in our mind during this time. And when you notice a thought, just observe it and then allow yourself to go back to focusing on your breath. Part of the power of these practices is that many of us are projecting ourselves way into the future most recently. which creates a tremendous amount of anxiety. Or we're popping ourselves way back in the past and what we used to have, which can make us sad, lonely, more aware of our isolation. But when we're focusing right on our breathing, we are right in the moment, right in the present. And in the present, one thing that we know is that all of us are safe right now, whether you're at home or whether you are somewhere else right now. Because in the present right now, we have a lot of power to take care of ourselves and to take care of those around us. Focusing on your breathing for a moment more. Letting all the air out of your lungs, please, and take a breath in through your nose. One last breath, hold it at the top. And this time when you exhale, exhale through your mouth, just imagining letting go of all the stress. Just letting go of anything that happens today, anything you expect for tomorrow. And open your eyes for us to end, to stop for tonight, Robin.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you for having me.
All of you, I just love this so much, and I love you, and I'm so glad you're part of my community. Let's keep spreading the love out there. We'll see you again on the 11th of November. Hang in there.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good week.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.